Good morning, everyone. My name is Arafat, and I teach history on the textbook platform. So, in this session, let us discuss a very important topic of modern Indian history, that is the integration of the princely states. Let us discuss a very important topic of modern Indian history, that is the integration of the princely states. Right? The integration of the princely states. So let us understand what these princely states are. Let us also understand how these princely states got integrated into India by 1948. By 1948, let us understand this story. So basically, uh, during the medieval period, the Mughals were ruling India. The Mughals were very strong till the time period of Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb came to power. Aurangzeb, those who do not know, Aurangzeb, the Mughal ruler who ruled between 1658 to 1707 AD. So Aurangzeb ruled between 1658 to 1707, and as long as Aurangzeb was alive, the Mughal empire was quite strong. But Aurangzeb died in 1707, and the successors of Aurangzeb were not very efficient and powerful rulers. So basically, the Mughal rule commenced in 1526 AD until 1707. The Mughals were quite strong in India. In fact, during the time period of Aurangzeb, that is between 1658 to 1707, the Mughal power in India was at its peak. So during Aurangzeb's rule, the Mughal power in India was at its peak. In fact, the whole of or a great part of the Indian subcontinent was under the control of the Mughals, particularly during the time period of Aurangzeb. Let me repeat, most of the Indian subcontinent, by which I mean the present day India, the whole of Pakistan, Afghanistan, as well as Bangladesh, were under the control of the Mughals, particularly during the time period of Aurangzeb. But I told you that Aurangzeb died in 1707 AD, but after his death, none of his successors, none of the successors of Aurangzeb were efficient rulers. And therefore, in the post Aurangzeb time period, the disintegration of the Mughal Empire began to take place. So, after 1707 AD, the post Aurangzeb time period, the disintegration of the Mughal Empire began to take place. And within a short span of time, close to 1000 kingdoms came into existence in India. So, on one side, the Mughal Empire began to get disintegrated, and close to 1000 kingdoms came into existence. So some of these 1000 kingdoms were large size, as the others were very small kingdoms, very small kingdoms. So there were large sized kingdoms, there were also small sized kingdoms in these 1000 kingdoms. And by this time, the British were in India. So basically, the East India Company came to India for a trade in 1608 AD. So the East India Company, British Company, came to India in 1608 AD until roughly 1757. Till 1757, East India Company was mostly involved only in trade in India. So between 1608 to 1757, East India Company was engaged only in trade. But the point is, after 7 AD, that is in the post Aurangzeb time period, the the Mughal Empire disintegrated. Large number of kingdoms came into existence, numbering 1,000. And by this time, the East India Company began to sense an opportunity to go for the territorial conquest of India. So by this time itself, East India Company was there, and East India Company began to sense an opportunity to go ahead with the territorial conquest of India. Basically, there were numerous small kingdoms. East India Company began to think that it would not be that difficult for them to uh, defeat and occupy those small kingdoms, and hence East India Company from 1757 AD onwards began to go ahead with the territorial conquest of India. So basically, the British conquest of any part of India began in 1757 AD and it continued till 1856 AD. So basically, the British conquest of India or any part of India began in 1757 and continued till 1856 AD. That is, the British conquest of India was carried out exactly for a period of about 100 years. It is between 1757 to 1856. During this period, the British conquest of India was carried out. At a point. So during this 100-year time period, sorry, during this 100-year time period, the British roughly conquered the British roughly conquered 50% of the territory of India, roughly not exactly 50, say 40% of the territory of India at a point. So uh, it roughly conquered 40% of the territory of India. It conquered roughly 500 out of these 1,000 kingdoms that came into existence the post Aurangzeb time period. The whole point which I'm trying to convey is the British conquest of India began in 1757, continued till 1856. So during this 100-year period, the British conquered roughly 500 of the 1,000 kingdoms that came into existence in the post Aurangzeb time period. And these 500 kingdoms conquered by the British roughly accounted for about 40% territory of India. Roughly about 40% territory of India. Here, so that's about the basic introduction relating to this topic. So the point is, in 1947, the British decided to leave India, granting independence to India. So the point is, in 1947, the British decided to leave India, and at the time of uh, the British decision to leave India, there were two types of territories in India. At the time when the British decided to leave India in August 1947, there were two types of territories in India. One is the British India. British India is that part of India that was under the direct control of the British government. I told you the British conquest of India began in 1757, continued till 1856. During this time period, the British conquered roughly 500 kingdoms, and these 500 kingdoms were under the direct control of the British. And the territory of India and that part of territory of India that came under the direct control of the British is referred to as the British India. On the other hand, there were princely states. There were princely states. So I told you of the 1,000 kingdoms, the British conquered only 500, roughly 500. So there were 500 plus kingdoms which were not conquered by the British. There were 550 plus kingdoms, to be very precise. There were about 563 kingdoms which were not conquered by the British. We call such kingdoms as princely states. Call such kingdoms as princely states. And these princely states remained under the control under the nominal control of the local monarchs. So, for example, Hyderabad was a princely state. It was not a part of British India. It was not a part of British India. It was basically a princely state. Princely state of Hyderabad remained under the nominal control of the local rulers of Hyderabad state, that is the Nizam. Basically, Nizams were the rulers of the Hyderabad state. So, till 1948, the princely state of Hyderabad remained under the nominal control of Nizam. So, basically, I just gave one wrong statistics. So, British India account for about 60% territory of present day India. British India accounted for about 60% of present day territory of India, and the princely states accounted for about 40% territory of India, and they accounted for 23% of India's population. 23% India's population, but they accounted for about 40% territory of India. So the point is, the British decided to leave India in 1947, in August 1947. And at the time of the British decision to leave India, there were two types of territories. One is British India, the other is the princely state. That's the point. Then the point is, the last Governor General and Viceroy of India was Lord Mountbatten. So the last Viceroy of India was Lord Mountbatten. This Lord Mountbatten played a very, very crucial role in the integration of the princely states to India. He played a very important role in the integration of the states into India. So the point is, when the independence of India became a certainty, because the point is, uh, by June 1947 itself, uh, Lord Mountbatten uh, uh, gave his recommendations to the British government to grant independence to India. So by June 1947 itself, Lord Mountbatten is the last Viceroy of India, gave his recommendations to grant independence to India. So the point is, by June 1947 itself, the independence of India became a certainty. Became certain that India would get independence. So when this independence of India became a certainty, the princely states, I told you there were about 563 princely states. The 563 princely states began to put pressure on the viceroy to allow them to remain as independent states or independent kingdoms. So the point is, when independence of India became a certainty, the 563 princely states began to put pressure on the viceroy to allow them to remain as independent states. In other words, they began demanding that these 563 princely states would neither join, uh, would, would would not join India. That's the point. So the point is, let me let me just explain this point. So by June 1947 itself, the 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 viceroy took a decision to partition British India, to divide British India into two parts. I forgot to tell you one point. By June 1947 itself, the viceroy took a decision to partition British India. You know what we mean by British India, that part of India which was under the direct control of the British. So by June 1947, a decision was taken to partition British India into two parts, that is Indian Union and is Pakistan. Indian Union and Pakistan. That's the point. So basically, when the independence of India became a certainty, the princely states began to put pressure on the viceroy to allow them to rule as independent kingdoms. to allow them to remain as independent kingdom. They began to argue. They began to argue. Basically, they did not want to join either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan. They basically wanted to remain independent. That's the point. So basically, I tried explaining that Mountbatten gave his recommendations for the independence of India in June 1947 itself. And in those recommendations, he also recommended the British government to divide British India into two parts, that is Indian Union, Pakistan. And as the independence of India became a certainty, the 563 princely states began to put pressure on the viceroy to allow them to remain as independent kingdoms. They began to argue that they will not be joining either India or Pakistan. But what was the position taken by Mountbatten? Mountbatten outrightly rejected the demands of the princely states. He outrightly rejected the demands of the princely states at a point. So basically, Mountbatten made it abundantly clear that the independence of the princely states is not possible at all. So the Mountbatten, the viceroy, made it very, very clear to the princely states that their independence is not possible, and they will have to compulsorily join either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan, subject to two conditions. So basically, Mountbatten rejected the demand of the princely states to remain independent. Mountbatten made it very clear that their independence is not possible at all. He argued that these 563 princely states should definitely join either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan, but subject to two important conditions. The first condition is the principle of geographical or territorial contiguity. The principle of territorial contiguity. Simple terms, it means that those princely states which were closer geographically to proposed Pakistan may join Pakistan, and those princely states which were closer geographically to India shall join India. So, particularly, what do you mean by territorial contiguity? So, those princely states that were geographically closer, that is point number one, to India shall join India, and those princely states which were geographically closer to Pakistan shall join Pakistan. And second, those states that shared borders with India shall join India, and those princely states that shared borders with the proposed Pakistan shall join Pakistan. And mind you, this is not the only condition, this is one of the two conditions. The second condition is will of the people. So basically, the will of the people should be ascertained, that is, the rulers of the princely states should know what the people of their kingdom want. If the people of the kingdom, their princely states, want to become a part of India, the rulers of the princely states should join on the side of India. And in case if the people of the princely states wanted to join on the side of Pakistan, they will have to join on the side of Pakistan. So the point is, the Governor General rejected the demand of the princely states to remain independent, made it very, very clear that the uh, princely state should join either India or Pakistan, subject to two conditions. Condition is, first condition is the principle of territorial contiguity. The second principle is the principle of the will of the people. Will of the people means basically, Viceroy argued that the decision of the people is final. But both these conditions should apply, not one of the two. Both these, this was the condition that Mountbatten had kept. So therefore, the point is the role of Mountbatten in this regard is absolutely noteworthy. How about, let us speak about the role of the first Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister of India, Sardar Patel. Played a very, very important role integrating to India, played an absolutely important role in integrating princely. So in June 1947 itself, June 1947 itself, uh, uh, in June 1947 itself, uh, the independence of India became a certainty. And therefore, in June 1947 itself, a new department was created, the part of Home Ministry. So basically, in June 1947, the Home Minister was uh, Sardar Patel, and in June 1947 itself, as a part of Home Ministry, uh, a new department called States Department was created. States Department was created. This States Department was created. So the secretary of this department was none other than this individual by name VP Menon. And this department was created, the States Department was created, a view to integrate the princely states into India. So basically, this department was entrusted with the responsibility of integrating princely states into India. With that objective, this particular department was created, and the secretary of this department was VP Menon, and this department functioned as a part of Home Ministry, which then was headed by Sardar Patel. Which then was headed by Sardar Patel. This is what happened. At the point. So basically, uh, the role of Sardar Patel is undoubtedly noteworthy because Sardar Patel and VP Menon uh, uh, traveled to they traveled to different princely states of India and and uh, and uh, and uh, and encouraged them to join on the side of India. So basically, Sardar Patel as Home Minister and VP Menon as the Secretary of the States Department traveled to almost all the princely states and negotiated with the rulers of the princely states to join on the side of India and to make the princely states join on the side of India. Uh, an agreement called the Instrument of Accession was drafted. So let us understand what this Instrument of Accession is. So basically, this Instrument of Accession was a draft agreement, uh, an agreement drafted by Patel and VP Menon. They were the one who made this particular, uh, who formulated this particular, uh, they have formulated the instrument of accession. So instrument of accession, full terms mean an agreement. An agreement. Instrument of accession is an agreement. It is a legal document through which the princely states joined on the side of India. That is, any princely state which signed the instrument of accession would become a part and parcel of it. So basically, Sardar Patel and VP Menon traveled to all of these princely states, motivated them, encouraged them to sign this instrument of accession with the government of India. So by signing the instrument of accession, what is this instrument of accession? I told you it is an agreement. It is a legal document through which the princely states would join on the side of India. The point. So the point is, uh, by 15th of August 1947, by 15th of August 1947, through diplomacy, persuasion, and pressure, point is through diplomacy and a combination of persuasion and pressure, uh, Sardar Patel and VP Menon succeeded in uh, in uh, in they succeeded in integrating 560 out of the 563 princely states before 15th of August 1947. Let me repeat this point once again. I told you Sardar Patel and VP Menon traveled to states. So after negotiations to diplomacy and persuasion, Sardar Patel succeeded in forcing the princely states, 560 of the princely states, to sign an instrument of accession with India. So the point is, before 15th of August 1947, of the 563 princely states, out of the total of 563 princely states, 560 princely states signed the instrument of accession with India, thereby became a part and parcel of India. But three states, they refused to sign the instrument of accession. These three states are: one is Junagadh, second is Jammu and Kashmir, and third is Hyderabad. So basically, these three princely states did not sign the instrument of accession with India before 15th August 1947. When India became an independent country on 15th of August 1947, Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Hyderabad were not part of India. They were still continuing as princely states. They were still continuing as princely. But finally, by the end of 1948, even these three princely states were made to join on the side of India. Credit for this undoubtedly goes to Sardar Patel. The point is, by 15th August 1947, these three did not join on the side of India, but by the end of 1948, when these three states were made to join on the side of India. Now let us understand how these three states, Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Hyderabad, became a part and parcel of India. Let us understand that point. So take a look at the integration of Junagadh into India. So where is Junagadh located? Junagadh is located in the Saurashtra region of Gujarat, basically located in Saurashtra region of Gujarat. The Junagadh is strategically important because it has an outlet to the sea. So it is has an outlet to the sea, that is Arabian Sea. Therefore, Junagadh becomes very, very uh, significant from strategic point of view. And second, the point is this princely state of Junagadh was surrounded by the Indian territory on all of its sides. The Junagadh, but it was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its. That is its geographical. Junagadh was a princely state in the Saurashtra region of Gujarat, but the point is it was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. The ruler was a Muslim by name Mountbatten Khanji, whereas a majority of the people of the Junagadh kingdom happened to be Hindus. So the ruler was a Muslim, the ruler of Junagadh was a Muslim, whereas the majority of the people of Junagadh happened to be Hindus who wanted Junagadh to become a part and parcel of India, who wanted integration of Junagadh with India. But what was the decision of Nawab? In September 1947, that is after the independence of India, the Nawab decided to join Junagadh with Pakistan. The point is, the Nawab in September 1947 decided to join Junagadh with Pakistan, despite the fact that the Junagadh kingdom is surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides, and despite the fact that the wish of the majority of the people of Junagadh kingdom was to become a part of India. So basically, the people of Junagadh wanted to become a part of India. They wanted Junagadh's integration with India, and more importantly, Junagadh was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its. Despite these facts, the Nawab decided to make Junagadh a part of Pakistan. What was the reaction of the people? Immediately, widespread protest broke out in the Junagadh kingdom. There were widespread protests. Okay, point. So the point is there was opposition to this decision of the Nawab from within his own administration. One is popular protest broke out. Large scale protests began to be made by the people of Junagadh. But the point is the the this decision of Nawab to make Junagadh as a part of Pakistan was not supported from within his own administration. Did not have the support of his own administration. Third, as soon as the Nawab took a decision to join Junagadh on the side of Pakistan, the local leaders of Junagadh formed a provisional government. A provisional government was also formed by the local leaders of Junagadh. This provisional government was formed in Bombay, and this government was formed with due to mount pressure on the Nawab, that is Muhammad Khanji. Muhammad Khanji, this provisional government was formed with a view to mount pressure on the Nawab to accede to India. Accede means joining on the side of India. So basically, this provisional government was formed to mount pressure on the Nawab to join Junagadh on the side of India. So the point is, Nawab took a decision to make Junagadh as a part of Pakistan. Immediately, widespread protest broke out. That's the point. So, what was the government of India's response? The government of India uh, wanted Junagadh to become a part and parcel of India because the majority of the people of Junagadh, being Hindus, and more importantly, the majority of the people of Junagadh wanted to become a part of India. So therefore, India was also in favor of Junagadh becoming a part of India. And more importantly, Junagadh on all of its sides was surrounded by Indian territory. So the point is, by the end of October 1947, widespread protest broke out in Junagadh against Nawab. By the end of October 1947, widespread protest broke out against the decision of Nawab to make Junagadh as a part of Pakistan. So, fearing his life, fearing his own life, the Nawab of Junagadh escaped to Pakistan in late 1947. He basically escaped, he fled to Pakistan in 1947. So, the Diwan, the Prime Minister of Junagadh Kingdom, the Junagadh princely state, was one Mr. Shahnawaz Bhutto, who is the father of the future Prime Minister of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So basically, the Prime Minister of Junagadh princely state was Shahnawaz Bhutto. Shahnawaz Bhutto immediately invited the government of India to 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 uh, to come to Junagadh and restore order in the state. So basically, once the Nawab fled to Pakistan, it created a political vacuum in Junagadh kingdom. So immediately, the Prime Minister of Junagadh, that is Shahnawaz Bhutto, invited the government of India to come to India, to come to Junagadh and establish peace and order, to restore order. Uh, he invited the government of India to come to Junagadh. So, in soon afterwards, in November 1947, the Indian troops moved to Junagadh, and in February 1948, a plebiscite was conducted in Junagadh. In this plebiscite, a majority of the people, in fact, 99% of the people of Junagadh voted in favor of joining India. With this, Junagadh became a part and parcel of. So the point is, Junagadh's integration with India happened without much difficulty. The point, and Junagadh was fully integrated into India by the end of February 1908. What happened? Now come to the second princely state, which also did not join on the side of India by 15th August 1947. And this state is Kashmir. So Kashmir uh, is located in the northern part of India. The point is, Kashmir shared borders not just with India but also with Pakistan and China. So the point is, this Kashmir, the location of Kashmir is of great strategic importance. Kashmir, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, shared borders not just with India, it also shared borders with Pakistan, it also shared borders with China. So making it strategically important area. Then what about the ruler of Kashmir? Ruler of Kashmir was a Hindu ruler by name Maharaja Hari Singh. Hari Singh was the ruler of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir at the point, the princely state of Kashmir, whereas the majority of the people of Kashmir happened to be Muslims. So basically, this Jammu Kashmir, it shared borders both with India, Pakistan, and it also shared borders with China. But the point is, the ruler of Kashmir princely state happened to be a Hindu ruler by name Hari Singh, whereas the majority of the people of Kashmir happened to be Muslims. So uh, the point is, even this princely state, that is the Kashmir princely state, was given the option of joining either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan by the viceroy. But the point is, Maharaja Hari Singh refused to join either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan. He he was firmly in favor of keeping Kashmir as a sovereign and a neutral state. So basically, he refused to join either on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan. He was in favor of keeping Kashmir as an independent kingdom. He was in favor of keeping Kashmir as a neutral and sovereign kingdom. At a point. So, but the point is, there was a political party in Kashmir called National Conference. So, this National Conference back then was led by Sheikh Abdullah. So, there was a political party uh, in Kashmir called National Conference, and it was led by one Mr. Sheikh Abdullah. So, Sheikh Abdullah, on the other hand, Sheikh Abdullah and his party, National Conference, on the other hand, wanted integration of Kashmir with India. So basically, Sheikh Abdullah carried propaganda in favor of joining Kashmir on the side of India. So that was the role played by Sheikh Abdullah and his party National Conference. That's the point. So what was India's approach? So the point is, this the integration of Kashmir with India was largely dealt by Nehru and not by Sardar Patel. Of course, Sardar Patel also played a very important role. But the point is, Sardar Patel left the issue of integration of Kashmir with India to be decided by Nehru. He did this because this integration of Kashmir had international dimension to it. So unlike Junagadh, which was basically a region inhabited by a large Hindu population and that too surrounded by Indian territory, Kashmir, the majority of the people of Kashmir happen to be Muslims, and more importantly, it shared borders with other parts of the world, for example, Pakistan and China. So basically, this integration of Kashmir with India had an international dimension to it because of the fact that Kashmir shared borders with other parts of the world. And therefore, the issue of integration of Kashmir with India was left to Nehru. So basically, Nehru, by and large, handled this particular issue. That is India's first prime minister. So, what was India's approach? So, the point is, uh, the government of India did not pursue uh, Kashmir's accession to India aggressively. So, basically, the government of India did not aggressively pursue Kashmir's accession to India, like how uh, the government of India signed instrument of accession with other princely states of India. The same enthusiasm was not shown by the government of India when it came to dealing with Kashmir. So rather, Nehru was in favor of first obtaining the opinion of the people by conducting a plebiscite to know what the people of Kashmir wants. The point is, the government of India, it was absolutely, it did not aggressively pursue Kashmir's accession like how it did with other states of India. The point is, this being the accession of Kashmir being a very, very sensitive issue, uh, Nehru tried to tackle the integration of with India in a very sensitive manner, in a very in a in a very sensitive manner. This is because the issue itself is sensitive. So the point which I'm trying to convey is Nehru wanted a plebiscite to be conducted to know what the people of Kashmir wants. That is, Nehru wanted to know what the people of Kashmir wants. That is, whether they want to join on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan. So India's approach was very clear. India never tried to occupy Kashmir. India never tried to forcefully sign the instrument of accession with the ruler of Kashmir, that is Maharaja Hari Singh. Nehru was, in fact, in favor of conducting a plebiscite in Kashmir to know the opinion of the people. That is what people of Kashmir wants. That is whether to side with India, whether to join on the side of India, or want to join on the side of Pakistan. This is what Nehru wanted to know. So Nehru was very clear. He wanted first a plebiscite to be conducted before signing the instrument of accession. Nehru was very clear. He wanted a plebiscite to be conducted before signing instrument of accession with the Kashmir. This was the position taken by India. So a very democratic, basically Nehru was quite democratic in his approach. He wanted the people of Kashmir to decide where they want to go, whether to go on the side of India or on the side of Pakistan. But what was Pakistan's approach? Pakistan outrightly rejected the idea of a plebiscite. Outrightly rejected the idea of a plebiscite. In fact, it began to take very short-sighted decision. In fact, on 22nd October 1947, the the Pathan tribesmen, with the support of the Pakistani government and Pakistani military, invaded Kashmir, rapidly moved towards Srinagar. So, what was we are now trying to understand Pakistan's approach Kashmir issue. I just discussed India's approach. India was very democratic in its approach towards Kashmir. But what was Pakistan's approach? Pakistan rejected the idea of a plebiscite. In fact, it began to take very short-sighted decisions. For example, say on 22nd October 1947, the tribes, the Pathan tribes, with the active support extended by the Pakistan government and Pakistan military, invaded Kashmir and even pushed towards Srinagar, which was the capital of Kashmir. So the point is, the Maharaja Hari Singh had his own army, but his army was very ill trained. Because they were never a match for the invading forces. Basically, the army of Maharaja was very ill trained. Therefore, it could never be a match to face these forces. So 2 days later, that is on 24th October, Maharaja Hari Singh appealed to India for military help. And 24th October, Maharaja Hari Singh appealed to India for help. Okay, point. But what was India's response to this help requested by Maharaja Hari Singh? Let me repeat. On 22nd October, the tribesmen of Pakistan began to invade Kashmir and began to occupy a large part of Kashmir. Immediately on 24th October, that is 2 days later, Maharaja Hari Singh requested India for military assistance. But what was India's response to this requested by Hari Singh? So basically, even at this stage, Nehru was still in favor of Prime Minister Nehru was still in favor of a plebiscite being conducted first before signing the instrument of accession. Basically, Maharaja Hari Singh came to India. He uh, he was ready to sign an instrument of accession with India. Basically, on 24th October, Maharaja appealed for military help from India, was ready to sign the instrument of accession with India. What was Nehru's position? What was what was what position did Nehru take? Nehru basically, even at this stage, wanted a plebiscite to be conducted before signing the instrument of accession with Maharaja Hari Singh. That was his position. But the point is, the situation was going out of control. Pakistani tribesmen uh, were almost on the verge of occupying Srinagar. Okay, point. So they in fact occupied a great part of Kashmir. They were also on the verge of occupying the whole of Kashmir. So therefore, Mountbatten, the last viceroy, advised that the Indian troops would be sent to Kashmir only after Kashmir signs the instrument of accession with India. So the point is the situation was going out of control in Kashmir, but Lord Mountbatten advised that India cannot send its troop to Kashmir without signing the instrument of accession. So therefore, upon the advice of the last viceroy, the government of India signed an instrument of accession with Maharaja Hari Singh, the ruler of Kashmir. So the point is when Maharaja Hari Singh uh, signed this instrument of accession, the popular political force of Kashmir, headed by Sheikh Abdullah, as well as India's first Home Minister Sardar Patel, gave complete support to it. So the point is, when Hari Singh signed the instrument of accession, this decision was supported by Sheikh Abdullah. It was also supported by India's Home Minister is Sardar Patel. This is what happened. So immediately on 26th October 1947, instrument of accession was signed by Maharaja Hari Singh with the government of India. But the point is, India at that time promised that it would conduct a plebiscite in Kashmir to uh, know the opinion of the people once peace was restored in the valley. So the point is, India signed the Instrument of Accession on 26th October 1940. But at the same time, India promised that it would definitely conduct a plebiscite in Kashmir to obtain the opinion of the people, but after peace is restored in the valley. And this was the position taken by India in 1947, October 1947. This is what happened. Immediately, the Indian troops were sent to Kashmir. That is on 27th October 27th, the Indian troops were flown to Kashmir, and the point is, uh, the fighting between the Indian troops and the Pakistani troops continued for a few months. But within months, the Indian troops succeeded in driving out the Pakistani invaders. The Indian troops succeeded in occupying Junagadh. They also succeeded in bringing under their control a large part of Kashmir. This is what happened. So the point is, Indian troops were sent to Kashmir. Indian troops, within a few weeks, succeeded in bringing under their control a large part of Kashmir. But the point is, till December 1947, even till December 1947, the fighting between the Indian troops and the Pakistani troops continued. Till December 1947, the fighting between both the troops continued. But the point is, India back then was just newly independent country. It had become an independent country just a few months before December 1947, and India was wanted to avoid a full-scale war with Pakistan. Point is, from October to December, conflict between our uh, the war, so the fighting between Indian troops and the Pakistan continued. But India, because it became independent country just a few months before, uh, just a few before, India was favor of avoiding a full-scale war with Pakistan. Therefore, upon the advice of Mountbatten, uh, India referred this Kashmir issue to United Nations Security Council, and this India did on December 30th, 19. So, upon the advice of Mountbatten only, this issue was referred to United Nations Council. The point is, Nehru later repented for his decision to refer this matter, Kashmir issue, to United Nations Security Council. Basically, Nehru believed that the UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council, would take just decision. But quite contrary to it, the members, two important members of UNSC, that is Britain, United States, began to side with Pakistan. Basically, Nehru later began to repent for to refer the Kashmir to Pakistan, uh, Kashmir issue to United Nations Security Council. This was because Nehru initially believed that the UNSC would act in a very just manner, but quite contrary to it, United States and Britain began to act very partially, began to side with Pakistan at a point. So thereafterwards, the UNSC kept passing many resolutions relating to Kashmir. One such resolution which it passed was on 31st December 1948. So a year after the issue was referred to UNSC, issue was referred to the Kashmir issue was referred to UNSC on 30th December 1947. Uh, the UNSC kept passing many various resolutions, and one such very important resolution was passed on 31st December 1948. We call this resolution as the ceasefire resolution. So the point is, this resolution called for immediate end to military operations between Indian troops and Pakistani troops. Basically, call this resolution as a ceasefire resolution. So this resolution called for an immediate end to the fighting between Indian troops and troops, and this resolution was accepted by both the countries, that is India and Pakistan. And uh, the point is, and immediately from December 31st, 1948, fighting between both the sides, that is India and Pakistan, started. And territory was also divided all along the ceasefire line. The territory, the territory of Kashmir was also divided along the ceasefire line. I have to point out. We call this territory a line that was uh, the region that divided along the ceasefire line as the line of control. I have to point. So the point is, the whole of Kashmir. The point is, a part of Kashmir still remains with Pakistan. India refers to it as Pakistan occupied Kashmir, but Pakistan refers to that region of Kashmir which it occupied as Azad Kashmir. Azad Kashmir. India refers to the occupied part of Kashmir as Pakistan occupied. This is what happened at the point. And thereafterwards, in 1951, the United Nations uh, uh, passed another resolution, and according to this resolution, the United States shall conduct uh, a plebiscite uh, under its supervision only after the Pakistani troops withdraw from what is called the Azad Kashmir or Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So in 1951, United Nations passed another resolution calling for, and this resolution called for a United Nations supervised referendum in Kashmir or a plebiscite in Kashmir, but only after the Pakistani troops withdraw from what is called the POK region or Azad Kashmir region. The point is, this resolution is yet to be implemented because Pakistan has refused to vacate from the POK region. Kashmir, the point is, this resolution passed by United Nations Security Council yet to be, as Pakistan refused to vacate from the POK region, and therefore that resolution is not yet implemented. But what is the present stand taken by India? The point is, India at present views Kashmir's accession as final and irrevocable. Present stand of India is that India views the accession of Kashmir as a final and irrevocable, and it considers Kashmir as an integral part of India. Whereas Pakistan, it continues to dispute the claim of India. This is the position of India. That's about Kashmir. The point is, Kashmir is a dispute, the major dispute between India and Pakistan. This dispute is still continuing. So come to the last territory, the last princely state, that is Hyderabad, which did not join on the side of India. Let us understand how the Hyderabad region, the Hyderabad state, was also made as a part and parcel of. So basically, take a look at the geographical location. Hyderabad princely state is located in a Deccan Plateau, basically a South Indian kingdom, basically located in South India. The point is, this Hyderabad state was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. It's located in Deccan part of India, but it is surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. The ruler of Hyderabad state was a Muslim by name Mir Usman Ali Khan. The ruler of Hyderabad state was a Muslim by name Mir Usman Ali Khan, but a majority of people of Hyderabad state happened to be Hindus, and they wanted integration of Hyderabad state with India. They desired integration of Hyderabad state with India. It was the 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 desire of the people of Hyderabad state. But what about the decision of the Nizam? Basically, the ruler of Hyderabad is referred to as Nizam. So the Nizam did not join on the side of India by 15th August 1947. Did not join India on the side of, he did not join India August 1947. He wanted to keep Hyderabad as an independent king. He neither wanted to join on the side of India nor on the side of Pakistan. Despite the fact that Hyderabad is surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides, and despite the fact that a majority of the people of Hyderabad state were in favor of Hyderabad's integration with, at a point, this is what happened. But what was the government of India's? Let us now understand the atrocities of Razakar. The Razakars are basically a private militia of the Hyderabad state, which were led by one Mr. Qasim Rizvi. Basically, Razakars happen to be the private militia of the Hyderabad state, which were led by an individual by Qasim Rizvi. So were the Razakars fully supported the demands of Nizam. The Razakars uh, were severely opposed to Hyderabad state joining on the side of India. They never wanted Hyderabad state to become part and parcel of India. They in fact fully supported the demand of Nizam. In fact, the Razakars carried terror campaign against those individuals who demanded the integration of Hyderabad state with India. They carried a terror campaign. They attacked, they harassed all those people who were in favor or who supported the Hyderabad state's integration with India. What do we mean by private militia? So basically, it was a private army, not the army of the Nizam. It is basically group of people uh, led by Qasim Rizvi. These group of people at a point were arms wielding people, had arms. They were not a part of Nizam's army, but these people, a group of people, they never wanted Hyderabad state to become a part and parcel of. They wanted Hyderabad to. They fully supported the demands of the Nizam. Ashika. So I hope your doubt is clear. So the point is, so the Razakars, they carried a brutal campaign against those people who supported India, Hyderabad's integration with India. This is the point is um, um, they committed severe atrocities against those people who were in favor of making Hyderabad as a part and parcel of India. So, what was the reaction of the people of Hyderabad state? So, as in the case of Junagadh, severe protests broke out in the Hyderabad state. There were large scale protests against the decision of Nizam in the Hyderabad state, because Hyderabad state being a Hindu majority state, because majority of the people of Hyderabad state happened to be Hindus. They wanted Hyderabad to join on the side of India, but when the Nizam took a decision to keep it as an independent kingdom, large scale protests broke out against Nizam at a point. So the point is, atrocities were being committed by the Razakars. Even then, these protests did not subside. These popular protests of the people did not subside. The people continued to protest against both Nizam as well as the Razakars. So meanwhile, what was the position taken by government of India? So the government of India was in no hurry to decide the integration of Hyderabad with India. Government of India was in no hurry. This was because government of India knew very well that Hyderabad is very much located uh, in a part of India surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. So basically, the government of India was in no hurry to decide the issue of Hyderabad because Hyderabad was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. And secondly, uh, the Nizam of Hyderabad also made a secret commitment to the government of India that he would in no case make Hyderabad join on the side of Pakistan. So the government of India was in no hurry to decide the issue of Hyderabad for the simple reason being Hyderabad was surrounded by Indian territory on all of its sides. And secondly, the Nizam of Hyderabad made a secret commitment to the government of India that he would not join on the side of Pakistan. His only demand was that he wanted to remain as an independent ruler at a point. So the point is that was the initial stand taken by the government of India. So the government of India in November 1947, the government of India in November 1947 entered into an agreement with the Nizam called Standstill Agreement. Agreement is important, remember. November 1947, the government of India signed an agreement called Standstill Agreement. So basically, it was a status quo for 1 year. It was an agreement in which both the sides agreed to maintain status quo for 1 year. That is, they decided not to take any extreme step at least for 1 year. That was an agreement that was reached between the Nizam and the government of India. The point is, government of India, I told you, was in no hurry. It, in fact, started negotiating with the Nizam. In fact, the government of India signed an agreement called Standstill Agreement. What is the standstill? It was basically a status quo for 1 year. That is, both the sides decided to maintain the status quo for 1 year. The point. In other words, both the sides decided to not take any extreme steps for 1 year period. This was the decision that was taken in November 1947. The point is, the government of India was hopeful that the the government of India was hopeful that it would succeed in motivating, in persuading the Nizam of Hyderabad to merge Hyderabad state with India. Point is, the the government of India was very hopeful that it would somehow succeed in persuading the Nizam to peacefully join Hyderabad on the side of India. So basically, it signed a standstill agreement. It decided to observe status quo for 1 year, and it also started negotiating with the Nizam. And the government of India firmly believed that it would succeed in persuading the Nizam to join Hyderabad on the side of India. This is what the standstill agreement. But the point is, the Nizam, though he signed the standstill agreement, began to violate the provisions of the standstill agreement. One, he began importing large. The point is, though he signed the standstill agreement, Nizam uh, he began to violate the provisions of the standstill agreement. He began to violate large sums of arms and ammunition. Possibly, he was preparing for a conflict with India. He was preparing for a conflict. He began to, in fact, seek help from Pakistan, which is once again a violation of the treaty of standstill. Was a violation of. He was also attempting to buy. He also started importing large sums of weapons from Europe. This was the stand taken by the Nizam of Hyderabad, that is Mir Usman Khan. So, therefore, the government of India was tracking all of these events. Therefore, the government of India took a decision to act against Nizam before things could go out of control. So, therefore, in September 1948, the government of India launched a military operation. Military operation was codenamed Operation Polo. This operation started on 13th September, ended on 17th, just for 5 days. Just for 5 days, so in this military operation, Nizam's troops were defeated, after which the Nizam surrendered. Then afterwards, Hyderabad was integrated into India. So by the end of September 1948, the Nizam of Hyderabad surrendered and Hyderabad was integrated. Thus, by the end of 1948, uh, all the princely states of India were integrated in. There were about, I told you, 563 princely states. 560 of these 560 princely states joined on the side of India before 15th of August 1947. The three states did not join on this were made to join on the side of India by the end of 1948. First was Junagadh, second is Jammu Kashmir, third is Hyderabad. That's all. That's how the integration of the princely was carried out. So that's all about this topic. In case if you have doubts, you may ask questions. Otherwise, we will end it in. That's all for today. See you tomorrow.